can see. They're trying to figure out who is it that has moved into their territory. You see how they move together? They do it as a unit, almost like lions calling or roaring, the dominance or the strength. There's another group to the right there. They seem to be on a bit of a territorial cusp here. Now this group's going to go again. They're coming closer to investigate. We're having a flyby. There they go, into the sunset. They're going to come right here behind us, right behind the tent, just in the bush here. And let's see if they do it again. They've come to investigate me and my phone. Ah, there they go. Not to happen now, as they fly into the sunset. Isn't that marvelous? So, from us with the sunset and the beautiful birds, I believe Taylor, who's got a leopard, has also got a bird.
We do. We have an arrow-marked babbler, and a beautiful view of one sitting right in front of the car, sitting quite close to Hosana. Two, oh, here comes some more. This is actually really cool because we never get to see babblers very nicely. They're such busy birds. I suppose they're like the tailor of birds, hey? Never sitting still, always bouncing around, always have something to say. Little insect as well, and also always eating. There we go. Always have a snack of sorts. There they go, one after the other. It was a lovely view of a babbler. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave our lovely leopard soon, so this will be the last view. As you can imagine, the list of people wanting to come in is amazing. Hosana has now spotted all the wonderful guests walking around on the deck behind us. Just looking at them. I'm very curious about what's going on. Okay, cool. We're going to have to go. Unfortunately, there are lots and lots of cars here now. There's about 4 vehicles here, so we're going to pull on out and let these guys carry on with their safari. So it was just a quick little glimpse. But very nice, though. Really, really nice. Now we're going to go do my other favorite thing, which will take us a little bit of time to get around to, but we definitely can't leave Chitwa without popping past the dam. Nikki, I'm so sorry. Can you please repeat what you said? I lost comms. Oh, there we go. Right, we'll go find a nice spot at Chitwa Dam. Off you go to Tristan, who doesn't have to leave his leopard. He's having all the fun today.
No, we don't. We're very fortunate in that at the moment we're on Djuma and the Djuma guides are not driving today, and so we don't actually have to go anywhere. We've had the most epic afternoon with Xidulu and thoroughly enjoyed having it to ourselves for quite a large majority of it. So we've been very fortunate that we have this situation, and it's why Djuma is such a special place for us. Is generally it's very calm and relaxed on the side, and the number of cars is so much less that it allows us to get these amazing kind of lengths of sightings that we get here. It's not always like this in the Sabi Sands. Some parts of the Sabi Sands are a lot busier, and 10, 15, 20 minutes maximum with a leopard is all you get, and then you've got to try and move out and allow others to get a chance. So we're very fortunate that we're able to, like I say, have sightings for the length that we have them here in this particular part, and even Chitwa to a degree. I mean, Chitwa, we get lucky. This morning we got very lucky that no one wanted to come to Kuchava and the Cub, and that allowed us these views. Now look, she's going to come straight towards us. Yeah, she's coming to say hello to you. And down she goes. How cool is that, guys? She is a special cat, isn't she? Now, you'll see the aerials and all those kind of things at the back of the car. I really like this cat. VM and I were saying that she's really... Oh, fly in the eye. Fly disagrees. They were just saying she's such an amazing cat because she seems to love to pose. Trees, termite mounds, loves to be up them, which is amazing. So, reminds me a bit of Kruger in that regard. Good, we're going to carry on. We're going to see what else we can find. I think I'm sending you to, I'm guessing Taylor, given that it's waterbuck, unless Steve has made a waterbuck in the tent.
There we go. This is gorgeous. I think we're going to take a moment just to actually enjoy this, so I'm going to stop talking now. It really does not get more beautiful than that. You may be able to hear some clashing of the horns. It's a nice bachelor herd of waterbuck, which we've been seeing so many of lately. And the two boys that are having a bit of a tussle, if only they would just take a few steps to the right. I thought Ferg was actually going to jump out the car, run round the termite mound to get them in the perfect light. Come on, boys, come on. My man, he's on the one on the left. Well, I'm hoping that he pushes his friend uphill and into that sort of golden pocket. Now, that has to be hands down the best sort of sighting of a waterbuck in terms of how stunning it was. I mean, that was really, really amazing. That was like an OTS shot there, hey, Ferg? That waterbuck. And that is what we live for, is to, of course, see the beauty in nature. Well, I suppose it doesn't need to do anything. Everything that we look at is just so gorgeous. But having them in that golden light was just out of this world. Please, boys, go and fight in the nice light, because the sun is not going to stay up forever. So this behavior is also very normal. They're not having a proper boxing match at the moment. This is all just in preparation for when they're a little bit older, as they're only a couple of years old. They won't be mating with the females just yet. Even though their horns are growing nicely, they're still quite small. And, oh, there we go. Look how they've locked horns now. Push, he's wedged him. You better be careful, those horns are sharp, and he's done what we wanted him to do. There's a big waterbuck, the one at the back. He'll be doing lots of mating with the females. These fellas are just going to have to keep one another company, and it's all they're of age to be able to challenge some of the others. This is so cool. Truly, truly stunning. Oh my goodness, Tristan is playing a game of competition. Let's go across and see his sunset.
Well, Taylor, I don't think this is a fair competition because, well, look at that. There is a leopard with a sunset behind it. That is as good a sunset as one could ever wish for in my book. Look at her. She's kind of just perched on top as though this is my kingdom. You will not come up my mound, and I am going to gaze upon the sun setting while I sit here. Isn't that cool? Look at that beautiful big orange sun behind her. Amazing. So VM always tells me, he's like, I just want to get a backlit leopard with the sun setting and the leopard above. And well, Wildy, I think we've won today, haven't we, Wildy? Wildy is happy, which is good. So absolutely beautiful to have that. That is as good as it gets. I mean, it looks like the sky's on fire, and that she's kind of just staring into it is even better. I think that's pretty much the best sunset I've had on Djuma. Not from a point of view of clouds, but this is the first time we've actually managed to get a kind of cat up against this very orange sky. Actually, I lie, I've had Hosana against an orange sky, but there was a lot more kind of trees and things in the way of him that didn't allow for as nice a sort of view as what we're getting with her right now. Like I say, she's a model cat. She likes to pose, that's for sure. So First Lady, she's a young girl, and she's stocky and she's big, so she's probably stockier than, I would put her stockier than Thandi and Shadow. It's going to be interesting to see how big she actually gets. At the moment, she's kind of the same size, if not maybe even a little bit bigger already. And that's how you make yourself comfortable in a termite mound. You just flop your legs down, tail down, and look at that. Isn't that very cool? Well done, girl. You've found yourself the most perfect spot to sit and enjoy. And she's probably gazing upon the sunset just like we are and thinking that's a beautiful kind of look. Wow. Very cool. The only thing that could be better is if she was facing us rather than facing that way, because we're just getting her backside, but still absolutely beautiful nonetheless. I think it's a good time for a one-word tweet. So, hashtag Safari Live or YouTube chat. What do you think of this? What do you think of this sunset with the leopard in front of it? One word tweet and go. So we can hear all of your one word tweets and find out what you guys actually think. I think that that's absolutely perfect is what my one word would be. You can see the sun's just now starting to go behind her head a little bit, so a little bit further and it will be kind of completely down behind her head, and we'll lose that sort of bright orange ball, but the sun, the sort of sky itself will be absolutely brilliant once she's kind of up there. So we're going to have a really nice situation fairly shortly and should be absolutely beautiful. Nope, down she goes. She posed for long enough and then she decided that's it. Vildy? Happy. Vildy's happy. Not often you get a happy from Vildy with a thumbs up, so Vildy's very happy, which is excellent news. Nikki, what do you think? Nikki's been very quiet. I don't know if she wants to say something and weigh in on our sighting. Amazing. You were telling Taylor how amazing our sighting is. So did we win, Nikki? I feel like we won that sunset. That sunset challenge, I feel like we won the sunset challenge. The waterbuck is a good one for sunsets. I also like waterbuck. I agree with you, because waterbuck with their furry coat catches the sun really nicely, and you get a sort of situation where you get lots of light on a waterbuck. So I also do like waterbuck. Are you going to go into a tree, Xidulu? Are you going to give us one last treat? Where's she gone? Oh, there she is. She's chasing something. So she's running after something. I don't know what it is. She went up a tree and then just started running. There she is. She's straight in front of us. Look, she's chasing something. So what it is, I'm not quite sure. I can't see what she's running after, but there's definitely something that she's chasing. So what she's been doing is, that's probably why she got off the mound. It's not because she was uncomfortable. It's because she's decided she's going to start hunting again. So there she is there, just in front of us. What have you seen, girl? It just hasn't stopped with her today. She has been an absolute rock star this afternoon. Made for TV, this one, I think. She's never seems to disappoint when it comes to an epic sighting. Let's see now where she's going to go. She's looking in this direction like she's spotted. I can't see anything, but that's because it's just such long grass that for us it's almost impossible. At least she has the advantage that she can hear and she can smell. And her sense of hearing and smell is far better than what ours would be at all. Right, now, I don't think Xidulu is right on the back of this animal at the moment, so we're going to sit with her a little bit, see if she gets kind of closer. While we do that, let's send you back to Taylor and enjoy those beautiful sun rays on Chitwa Dam.
It's lovely, it's lovely. We are going to be doing a special broadcast just now. I'm just waiting to get the go-ahead, like I said, rather sooner than later, because our sunset is going to disappear. I'm going to sit quietly now, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Good afternoon and welcome to a very sunny South Africa in the late afternoon. We're sitting here in the Sabi Sand Private Game Reserve at Chitwa, enjoying the hippo, which are going to start to get, quite active. Well, that one looks like it's still having a bit of a sleep. For those of you that have never joined us out here on one of these live safaris, it's great to have you on board, and it's interactive, so you can chat to me because this is happening right now. So all you have to do is comment away, and we will get those questions. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Fergus Clark, and we're very, very happy and very lucky to be sitting out and enjoying the most magical place in Africa. But have a look at this gorgeous sunset that we've got with waterbuck in the background. It is so, so, so pretty. Hello, Rachel, all the way from Sydney. Glad that you've joined us. Have you ever been to South Africa before? I'd love to know. And if you haven't, I reckon that you book your plane ticket now, as if you want to see wildlife, this is one of the most amazing places to see it. Oh my goodness, Michael, all the way from California, you said it's sunny there too. Well, we've had the most amazing day. And at this time of the year, up in the northeastern corner of South Africa, the weather is perfect. It's warm. Temperatures are normally around 30, 35 degrees Celsius. It's probably still in the late 20 degrees Celsius, somewhere around there. I'm probably not going to have to put a jersey on this evening. Shorts and T-shirts weather is what we're experiencing at the moment. Except for those poor waterbuck that have got a big shaggy coat. They're probably not enjoying the heat so much. But I suppose they can always pop down to the dam for a swim. Which is what waterbuck tend to do. They do love water. They're water-dependent creatures. Amy, you're also enjoying the sunset this afternoon. It is, especially when the skyline is lined with marula trees, and it is only going to get better and better. There's no smoke and mirrors here, everybody. This is what's happening right now at Chitwa. Isn't that cool? It looks like somebody has spilt over some paint and, just brushed it lightly. Lovely, all those different colors. And the waterbuck definitely enjoying their afternoon. So that was just a bachelor group of waterbuck that we could see. Larry, I bet your mind is probably struggling to wrap the concept with the fact that it is snowing where you are, and you're looking at us with, beautiful weather. You can see there's not even a breeze at the moment. I reckon what's moving the grass is probably the air coming off of that waterbuck as it swishes its tail. But on a nice warm day like today, you can imagine the insects will be out in full force. I suppose we haven't got that on our side. Nothing a little bug repellent won't fix, but that is so gorgeous. And because it's a bachelor herd filled with waterbuck of various ages, they are going to have a little tussle every now and then. Not only do we get the chorus of birds, we get the chorus of hippos too. Amazing. This is incredible. Now, sorry, Nikki, who's asking about what time it is? Barbara, the time currently is 6:15 Central African time. It's the evening here. But I'm going to probably put a smile, or even a bigger smile on your face now, because it isn't just me out here driving around in the Sabi Sandwiltuin in the Greater Kruger National Park. Tristan is too, and he's got an animal that's slinking through the grass.
Indeed we do. So this is the amazing thing, from the beauty of a dam that is full of diversity in South Africa to one of the absolute treasures that we have in this country, the spotted cats known as the leopard. And this female is busy stalking through the grass at the moment. We've been with her most of the afternoon. She's been trying to hunt. She's been trying to catch all kinds of little antelopes and scrub hares. And she's been sneaking and slinking around and smelling and sniffing and trying to find all kinds of different things. And it's now at this time of the day that scrub hares come out, but I think she's lost whatever she was chasing, because she was running after something and then she stopped, and I think now she's just striding off. But let's see, she might come out on the other side there, and we might have a situation where she's going to carry on hunting a little bit. I just want to check where she goes from here. Now, as Taylor mentioned, my name is Tristan. On camera I've got VM this afternoon, and it is a very warm welcome to all of you that have joined us. Hopefully you are loving the fact that we are coming to you live from South Africa. It is a very epic place to be on safari. Now look, she stopped again, so she's listening. You see, she goes into a very interesting mode when she hunts. She'll stop and she'll listen, and she'll try and use her ears, her nose, her whiskers, every part of her sort of senses to try and pick up any slight movements in the grass. Now a leopard is a very opportunistic hunter, so it's going to go after anything. It's going to go after birds, you can go after lizards, snakes, all the way up to even baby elephants. And so what she's doing is she's trying to spook and trying to get animals to run out that she can then chase. And watch how she walks and puts her foot down very carefully. So Cindy, guided tours is obviously it depends on where you go. Some tours that go into some parts of South Africa will be all-day tours that you'll go out from early in the morning all the way through the day. That tends to be in places like the Kruger Park and places like that. But in terms of our guided tours and what we do, we are out for 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening. So we come out at sunrise and then we go out again for the sunset. And that's because it's the peak period for animal activity here in South Africa. We have a beautiful climate, and that makes it the perfect time to head out. Now, I want to just try and kind of keep up with her because she's just slinking through this thicket. I don't know if maybe there's something on the other side that she's going towards. Let's just try and have a little look. Betty, you say gorgeous. Well, the whole thing has been gorgeous. We've got a beautiful female leopard. You've had amazing views of Chitwa Dam, one of our incredible lodges that we have here in the Sabi Sands, and now a leopard that is slinking through. And you can see she's not fazed by us at all. She's in a situation where she's trying to find food more than anything else. Now there she goes. She's just looking. So, Robin, you say, wow, amazing, you love this. Well, Robin, if you love this, you can join us every single day, twice a day. You just Google Safari Live and you'll be able to catch up with us on various different platforms. So if you're enjoying it, we hope to see you more. And it is, like we say, interactive, which means that you can ask questions. Right, she's going to carry on. Doesn't look like she's stalking anything just yet. She's on the road. So we're going to carry on following her. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you, and hopefully we'll see you all soon. Right, so we are back, and normal pace and normal style, and well, Xidulu is just ambling down the road. Has she not just been the most spectacular cat this afternoon? She has really given more than any of us could have asked for. I still think she's hunting. I still think she's looking for food, but she's doing this technique where she's going to walk the road and she's going to try and get into a situation where she's going to try and sniff things out or hear things out. Good, there's another 2 cars that are joining us now, so, we've come out onto the road and there's a couple other cars that want to join us, so we're going to give them a little space and let them go in front, given that we've just had the most epic afternoon and kind of seen a lot of her this afternoon, so we very kind of fortunate to have had that, and so we're going to let them kind of go forward as she kind of ambles down the road. Oh, she's actually going to go drink. Hold on, Vilby. She's going to drink. Let's try and just punch through here quickly. So I think she's going to have a little drink out of a little pan that's right here. So I want to just try and get through. Oh, lots of water. She's going to drink right here, Vim. This is going to be absolutely beautiful. Oh, there's so much grass in the way. It's a pity there's so much grass, because otherwise it would have been absolutely perfect. Look, she's having a drink right in front of us. So we would have had it epically, but the grass is raining a little bit, but it's still nice. It's still very, very kind of pleasant, and we still have a situation where we can see her. Now, I'm going to just try and see. No. There we go. Now, for spot pattern purposes, anybody that was wondering about spots, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's 5'5". So I said, what did I say, 4'5" or 5'5", didn't I? I think somewhere there. But I definitely know that she had 5 on the left, but she's a 5'5" female. So she's got, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 there on the bottom sort of row, and then one little spot on top, and then on the other side she has a very similar situation as well. It's interesting with leopards, you get a lot of 5'5", you get a lot of 3 threes, a lot of 3-5, a lot of those combinations. 4, it doesn't seem to be a very popular number, and 1 is not very popular. 2, 3, and 5 tend to be very popular. I once saw a leopard in the Kruger National Park that was had a 7 spot pattern on top, which is also very odd, and don't see that very often. So there's some interesting examples out there of different spots. But for those of you that don't really know what I'm talking about those spots that are just above the whiskers. So she's got this kind of, you see where the whiskers come out, they're these black bars, and then just above those black lines, basically, there's little spots between the nose and those black lines. So those are the spots that I'm referring to. And I'm sure Steve can maybe show us a good example. If he can find a picture of a leopard, he'll be able to go through it really in depth, where he can point out exactly which spots I'm talking about. That's the nice thing about being in the tent, is you can pull this out. I'm not surprised she's so thirsty, though. It's been a marathon effort from her today. She's really gone after a lot of different things and walked in the heat, so I'm not surprised that she's drinking as much. Molly, I'm afraid your house cat would be a snack for a leopard or a big cat. They will love to eat them, I'm afraid. So unfortunately, if you had any ideas of your cats making friends with a leopard, unfortunately that's not going to happen. She will literally just wolf them down without a second sort of moment's thought about it. Leopards are notoriously bad for domestic animals. They go, "What do you want, girl? Do you want to come say hello again?" And you see, she's now coming to us again to say hello. They're notoriously bad when it comes to domestic animals in the way that they eat them. Dogs, cats, goats, sheep, cows, anything really that's domesticated, a leopard will take. Right. one last push before she crosses out into Arethusa. I think she's going to be maybe 10 minutes if she kind of holds this course, and I don't even know if we're going to be able to follow her through here, but we'll try. And so while we do that, let's send you back to Steve and see if he's maybe managed to pick up a picture to show you those spots a little bit more in depth.
Thank you, Tristan. I've just quickly done a little googly search, and we found the Londolozi blog, to give them some credit, and they've given a very nice photograph here of the actual spot patterns that we're talking about. You can see that this is a 3-4 spot pattern, and then when you get a photo like this, it's quite easy to also mark out certain things. For example, they've got marked out something to do with the eye over here. Quite often we'll see certain marks on the face. Hukumuri's got that very characteristic drooling tongue, and some of them have got notches in the ear, all sorts of scars and scabs. But this is the spot pattern that we're talking about there. You can see the bars below that Tristan was talking about, where the whiskers coming out, and those are the spots on top. So I hope that answers it for you. And now I've got something marvelous sitting underneath the microscope that I wonder if we can go to. And it is a beautiful, beautiful photograph of some lichen. I just grabbed a little log from outside, and there are probably between 17,000 and 200,000 species of lichen recorded in the world. Now, that is quite a misnomer, because lichen is not actually a species. It is a symbiotic relationship between algae and fungi. And there are only a few fungi species in there, but 20% of the fungi found in the world is associated in lichen. And that is an enormous amount. But there's far more algae in there, and they form a symbiotic relationship which is mutualistic, whereby the fungus itself provides the spores and the reproductivity of the actual element, and the algae produces the photosynthesis potential and the sugars and food that they need. So they coexist together. They live on wood, on rocks, on all sorts of substrates, and they absorb moisture from the atmosphere. Here you can see the stick just sitting over here underneath the microscope, with a whole lot of other things that I've lined up but are wilting away because of our amazing Catidae. So we're going back to the microscope, and isn't that marvelous? There are so many different types and species of them on there, and just on a piece of wood like this you can find numerous species. Now, I am no expert, but you get different colors and different forms and shapes and different names. But I think that's quite marvelous. Over 20,000 species, which is quite weird because they're not a species. They're a mutualistic relationship benefiting each other. How marvelous is that? Okay, so we're going to leave our lichen, and let's go over to Taylor, who's driving.
Right, so we've moved on from our beautiful views at the dams, as you can imagine, or naturally, as everybody was leaving the leopard sightings, as the guides were rotating through it, the next best thing to do is to come past the dam. So they were all sort of following us this afternoon, then stopping, viewing the waterback, almost parking in exactly the same spots that we were at. So it's quite nice. It was a beautiful day down at Chitwa, and it was really, really stunning there. It's definitely one of my favorite parts of the northern Sabi sand, and to sort of drive on. It's so stunning. Some days can be a little bit quiet, but I mean, that's everywhere though. You just don't see anything. Ah, okay. Okay, so this is from Alicia's godmother. Now, most of you know Alicia is one of our new employees. She is the producer, from her godmother, Yaya. And you've asked on this wonderful evening if the reserve sees a lot of bushfires. I haven't seen a big fire up here that was started naturally. Down in the south, in fact, of the side. So towards the Paul Kruger gate, which is one of the gates to the Kruger National Park, there are a lot of fires down there that spread up into the southwestern Sabi sand. There's been some massive ones. Lodges have almost been lost. What we do though is, because obviously you can see all the grass that's around, a lot of the vegetation is pushed over by trees, so there's a lot of moribund, a lot of built up old vegetation that's left behind. And one of the conservation efforts that we sort of do is we actually burn. We will back burn an area so that if a fire does come through, whether it's caused by somebody throwing a cigarette out the window, or if it's maybe lightning, something along those lines, then there's not much sort of to burn. So there's normally start doing that in around August, September, somewhere around there, where we do these conservation efforts and actually do burning. I haven't been involved in the firefighting here. I've had to fight some big fires in my career. I'm pretty sure Tristan and Steve have got stories to tell of putting out flames. It's pretty scary. The one cool thing we did have to learn to do is learn how to drive the fire truck and handle all the hoses on the... Hey? Okay, I'm going to do some investigating. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, but while I do a bit of investigating, I'm going to send you to Tristan to see how far Xidulu is from the boundary.
Well, she's literally not even 20 meters now from the boundary, just going straight towards it. So we're going to pop out onto the road in the next 2 seconds. So she's just on my left-hand side now. There she is. Let's just quickly shoot forward. She's going to pop out on the road just in front of us here. So there she goes. She's going to cross the road and off she goes into Arethusa. So she's found something. Look, she's stalking. I don't know what she's stalking at the moment, but let's see. Ears are flat and she's gotten into a leopard-like pose. I'm going to sneak forward slightly because she's going straight towards something. Let's see. What has she spotted? So she's definitely spotted something. It's inside Arethusa is what she spotted, but look, she's looking in that direction. There. There's a duiker right there. Do you see it? There's a duiker right in front of the tree. Has no idea that she's there. Look, she's sneaking through the bush. How cool is this? Not every day that you can see her kind of just going in behind. Now, the chances of her seeing that is crazy. Look at how she's gotten low in the bush to be able to try and kind of creep forward. The duiker's obviously looking in this direction because it can kind of see, look, she's going closer. The duiker's walking straight towards her. It's walking straight towards her at the moment. It's just behind that bush, coming this direction. Now, I'm going to try and see if I can sneak forward for VM. I don't want the duiker to run, so I'm just going to try and sneak a little forward for VM. So Vildi, just on the right, underneath that bush at the moment is where it was. See, she's just got her head up watching. I don't know if she's going to get this right, unfortunately. Very little bush between where she is and where that duiker is. I've lost the duiker though, I can't see. So I know a lot of you are crossing fingers and hoping that she gets it this time. Well, to be honest, it's not going to be ideal because she's going to chase it deep into Arethusa and we probably won't see her or her take down this animal because of where she's kind of heading. So it's not the most ideal situation, but she does need to eat and we need to consider the fact that she needs a meal. Although she had a meal, I believe, yesterday morning. She had something, but it was stolen by hyenas, so she didn't get much of it, unfortunately. But she's still edging forward. She has been persistent today, hasn't she? So no matter what happens, she's definitely tried her very, very best to be able to catch some sort of food item. So, Pisces, Bobby, you're saying, oh my gosh. Yes, everybody is almost listening as though we are. There she goes, she's dropping her head a little bit. I don't know where that duiker is. It's somewhere up ahead of where she is. So we might see her just bolting from here and just kind of running in that direction. But whether or not we're going to see anything, I'm not quite sure. We're going to switch to infrared. So if it does go into that black and white, or even green, should I say, with the Z150s, then you'll know what's going on. But she is moving around the bush. I wonder if she's going to chase back towards us. So look at her sneaking. Look at how she gets low to the ground. Isn't this amazing to watch? Look at you, girl. You're being very sneaky. But we are going to lose her shortly. There's unfortunately a situation where it's going to be incredibly difficult to be able to follow her any further. She's going into a thicket. No, she's behind there now. And unfortunately think we're not going to see much more it's also getting darker and darker and darker, and that means that we've got a situation where we're not seeing very much. And if I can't see her, and I don't really know where she goes, and she's slinking through the grass, it's going to be very difficult. Vim, can you still see her moving or not? She's left of frame. Okay, cool. So Vim's on it, so I shouldn't even have to ask. And there you can just see her spots, yeah. Her spots are just on the left-hand side, moving towards the sort of center of the frame. So she's just edging forward. Let's see, you saw with the diker earlier that they just bolt, and so whichever way it bolts, it might be the way that she runs. So maybe she runs back towards us, and we'll have a situation where she chases back in towards this area. You never know. But how exciting has this afternoon been? It's been amazing. There's been literally something for everybody. It's been insane, from leopards meeting and interacting to leopardess hunting, posing. We've had Steve in the tent, who, well, is not a leopard, but I'm sure he could do a good leopard impression. And so it's all been happening this afternoon. She's just kind of edging away from us a little bit further. It's very difficult to see. There she goes, she ran. So I just heard the diker run and her run, but I can't see where she is. So she ran, I think, deeper into Arethusa. Let me just go back for you, Vim, and just see. She definitely went after whatever it was and had a chance and had a try. Vim, if you see anything, let me know. So, I don't know. Fortunately, think that maybe, just maybe, we have lost visual of her. I don't see any more signs. Have you got her? Well, VM, so VM's got her. Like I say, I shouldn't not trust VM kind of moving off. But she is going deeper into Arethusa, so we're going to lose her right now. Whew. How was that? That is absolutely ridiculous. What an incredible sighting that we've had this afternoon. She's really been a special, special cat. We've been thoroughly spoiled this afternoon. So let's just try to go back. It sounds like she might be heading back towards the road, actually. Let's just give this one more minute here, Nikki, and just see. It's unfortunately on the main road, so it's going to get a bit chaotic. Let's see. No, I can't see her, Vim. Let's just get our lights out. So, Nikki, are you picking favorites now? Ooh, you must be careful which favorite you pick. So, Nikki's saying always been quarantined, but he hasn't seen her in so long that it's maybe, well, him, should I say, that now maybe Xidulu's moved up the list, given her tendencies to be a very active, should I say, I don't know why I said accurate, active leopard. Guys, it's very busy here. There's so many cars. I think I'm going to make some space for all the cars that are here and let others kind of join. It is on the main road. We have had a ridiculously good sighting, so we don't want to kind of sort of block everything up, and let's rather let everybody else have a chance, and we'll kind of carry on. Although there she is right there. Hold on. Osti, one last look. You can just see her just moving away from me, Vim. So I don't know if we're going to get much more of her, but she's just behind this bush. I think we might be a bit low now. Vim, can you see her there? She's kind of striding parallel with us at the moment, so there she goes, kind of walking off. Good, we couldn't leave it with a bad visual. We had to get at least a decent one as she walked off and slinked through the grass. Good, while we carry on and while we revel in the success that has been this afternoon, let's send you back across to Taylor, who's also had an equally epic day today.
We have indeed. We have had a phenomenal day. Now, we're bounding about, looking for things. I got so excited. I saw some dung on the road. Was a big old warthog. It was quite funny. So that was what my surprise was. But sadly, no. Oh goodness. Gremlins are attacking me. They don't want to tell you what we had seen. I initially thought we had some leopard dung on the road, but it wasn't. It turned out to be warthog. So that's what I was having a quick squiz at, just to make sure. Warrior road, which is a favorite of Tandy. Lots of little pans around here for her to drink from, but sadly we haven't seen anything just yet. But we don't know who could pop up. I'd like to see some smaller things tonight. Another chameleon would be good. Well, not another one, because I have... So I'd like to try to find a chameleon. Perhaps some insects would be nice. Maybe a katydid. What about a solifuge or a scorpion or a big spider of sorts? You know, it would be a nice time for a baboon spider to come out. They are nocturnal, so they should be creeping out of their burrows in search of something to eat. But that's a spider I haven't seen for a while, besides the one at the beginning of my cycle when I came back to Djuma, when we had the spider hunting wasp, which was, well, dragging a big baboon spider across the road for us. That was epic, but other than that, I can't tell you when the last time I saw a spider. That was really cool, wasn't it? Interesting to see something like that. There's a big wasp as well. I would love to have seen the big spider hunting wasps in Kenya, because they were about 3 times the size of any spider hunting wasp I've ever seen here in South Africa. They were massive. Everything's bigger and better in Kenya, though. We saw that quite clearly. Oh, cool. Seems as though Tristan is just full of surprises and making you think that he's leaving Xidulu. But he hasn't, and well, she's living up to her name.
She is living up to her name. So she went on this nice termite mound and is giving a really nice silhouette. So we thought we'd just stop one last time as she kind of just plopped down onto this termite mound and just having a bit of a rest. You can see she's breathing heavy. It's a hot, muggy evening, and so I'm not surprised that she's a little on the tired side given the amount of activity that she's done in the last little bit. So just sitting, and you've got the beautiful sunset colors in the background there. There's a little bit of cloud on top of the mountains and her kind of silhouetted up against that. It would have been nice if she had stood up there, because it would have been even better, but it's quite an epic silhouette and sky to have her on. It's very, very cool. So she's just taking a break. I don't think she's going to be on there for very long. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a situation where she's in all likelihood going to move fairly sort of shortly. And it's much like what she did just now, where she sat for a little bit and then decided to carry on. So I think it's going to depend on kind of if maybe she spots something, maybe she spots something else, she might decide to move. But for the meantime, maybe, just maybe, she's going to sit for a little longer. Seems like she's still down, but she is looking around quite a bit, so I would imagine that there will be more duiker in Steenbok, and she is going to definitely carry on hunting throughout the night. She's kind of been in that mode the whole time this afternoon, has been looking for anything that moves. But it must have been another close call for that duiker, because she was right on its tail at one point, and we heard the thud of the duiker sort of running along and bounding down the road, or through the bush, should I say, and her kind of in pursuit. But not that one, and it just goes to show this leopard has a tough life to find food. It's not easy at all in terms of finding food and looking for food. They have a situation where they've got to attempt it many, many times until they get a meal. Now, what is out this evening is mosquitoes. Have you noticed lots of mosquitoes? Yes, there are lots of them landing all over me at this stage. So VM's just gone into infrared just to try and see if we can get a bit of a clearer picture. We're losing light rapidly now, so it's really difficult for us to actually see much, and so that's why we just went into a bit of a sort of infrared moment. But there you can see her kind of sitting on top of the mound. Good. Now there are some other cars that are coming here that are able to go into Arethusa, so I think we'll give way to them. Like I said, we just wanted to get one last view of her and allow her to be kind of seen up against a beautiful backdrop. So while we kind of move out and turn around and get ourselves out of here, let's send you back across to Steve in the tent.
Thank you very much. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the volume there. Please don't forget, we are still nominated for the Webby Awards, and if you have not voted, please go check it out and vote for us, Safari Live. We'd love to find out and hear more about it from you. So, Taylor was talking about fire. I thought I might just enlighten you a little bit more about the difference between a head fire and a backfire. So I've drawn a beautiful picture on my little chalkboard over here, and essentially this is the basis of fire. Okay, you see the wind direction is blowing this way. If you start the fire over here, it is going to blow very quickly in that direction with quite a lot of flame, but very quickly. So the surface fire is going to go very fast in that direction. Okay, now you do that generally to promote grass, to promote the growth of grass, and it isn't too much for the removal of bush encroachment, because the fire, moving very fast with the wind, burns not that hot, if that makes any sense. But then if you do what we call a backfire, you can see the wind direction is that way. You put the fire in that side, it burns very slowly backwards this way. And so by doing that, actually burns very, very hot as it's burning. If any of you've made a fire on the ground, you'll know that the ground underneath that fire, because the fire is not moving anywhere, gets extremely hot. So by burning this way, the flames are not very high because the wind is blowing in the opposite direction. Remember, flames are built by oxygen and fuel load, and so it'll burn back very slowly this way. And that is a good way of burning, to remove trees, especially small shrubs, because the fire will be very, very hot. But now essentially this is not something that is going to happen or work very well in the savanna ecosystem, because the wind doesn't always play its part. So what we look for in the savanna ecosystem and in the diversity of the Kruger National Park is they want to burn all over the place. They don't want to burn, because if I burn like this, it is a homogeneous burn, and you're going to promote one species of grass. If I burn this way, it's going to be very hot, and you're probably going to do some damage to the ground layer. So what they try and mimic is something known as a patch mosaic burn or a lightning strike burn. So if we take this as a very large area in the Kruger National Park, they'll basically shoot a cannonball in there that is sort of like a ping pong ball that is ignited, and it will land. And let's say the wind is, say they do it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and at 8 o'clock in the morning the wind is going in that direction. Okay, this flame is going to burn in that direction. Do you agree? It's going to burn sort of away like that, and sort of slowly backwards. Sorry, my drawing is not very good, because remember, the wind's blowing in that direction. But then in about 2 hours' time, the wind is going to change in that direction. So slowly this flame is going to burn a little bit more that way, and only a little bit that way. So you're starting to get a different dynamic with regards to, there's little back burns here, back burn there, head burn there, head burn there. So you're getting different degrees of burning and different temperatures. So it's going to favor different species. It's going to burn. It does, albeit enjoy. Why will it burn back against the wind? Purely because there is organic material. I've got a photograph here for you quickly. Where did you... Here we go. That one. Have a look at this photo on the screen here. Here is a backfire. The wind is going in this direction, and there is vegetation here which the fire is going to slowly burn onto. It's not going to go very fast. It's going to burn very, very slowly. Whereas you look at the head fire, look how fast that's moving forward. That covers that area very, very well. So when you have a fire that's coming towards you, like this one would be, you will put in a backfire that will burn very slowly towards the fire that's coming. And by the time this fire reaches this burnt area, it's essentially going to burn itself out. And there's going to be no more fuel for it to become dangerous. And that's why we often talk about the fire break in the north and in the south. That is a management unit where we can quickly, if a fire is coming from the south or the north or wherever, we can quickly go along that road, put in a backfire that will slowly burn backwards, 30, 40, 50 yards. And when the head fire that comes with absolute force hits that, there's no more fuel for it to burn. So through the patch mosaic, what you're doing is you're getting different degrees. This is going to burn quickly, so it's a little bit less in heat. Then the wind changes, that's going to be a little bit quicker. It's going to burn quickly, whereas burning backwards is going to be hot. And then the fire will go out. And essentially when an unnatural fire comes at another stage, you've got kind of these patches in here of burnt areas that if a fire comes from Mozambique, which is one of the biggest problems that we have in South Africa, in the Mozambican fence line, they do lots of charcoal kilns and burns there. And when those fires escape, they happen at the wrong time of year. They are very, very intense, and the wind and the heat. And those fires come in from that direction. And what happens if they come in? They'll hit these burnt patches and they will die out. Yes, they'll probably burn the unburnt patches, but they won't cause a cataclysmic destruction of the entire Kruger National Park. So I hope that explains a little bit more about the fires. And if you have questions, feel free to send them through. But it is important to protect homes and houses and properties. So that's why they have fire breaks, purely because of uncontrolled fires that might happen from somewhere else. And we need to be able to protect what we have and human life. Okay, so from fires, let's go back over to Taylor.
So, I'm going to show you something. We have had so much luck today, it's actually not even funny. It's been a really cool game drive with lots of different things. So, remember I said I'd like to see some of the smaller things? We didn't find a chameleon. We didn't find a solifuge or a scorpion, I'm afraid. But what we did find, which was hiding away, if you look very carefully here, was a southern white-faced scops owl. How cool is that? I have not seen one in about 2 years. At least I've been hearing them. But it is so cool, also very small. And then sort of soon after, we had either a pearl-spotted or a barred owlet. It just was sitting on the top of the tree. I didn't get a chance to actually have a decent look at it. But how nice is that? It was actually out in the open for us, but it was on a gremlin-infested road, sadly. And then it sort of jumped behind a couple of branches, but it was literally right in front of it. I'm trying to use my arm now like this without the spotlight in it. That's not going to work. Such habits. So we've been having quite a good drive. So let's try and keep the owl luck up. And maybe Ferg, you're even funnier. Hey? Okay. So let's keep checking. Then this is a good. Oh no. Under attack again by gremlins. We'll keep searching for owls. Let's go, well, to the safety net of today's drive. Tristan.
Well, safety net, I feel like safety net from this morning too, and Brent has been getting hammered. It seems if you drive rusty, you become the safety net, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens, and it'll eventually be sorted out. I know poor Conrad has worked himself to the bone the last few weeks, and has been a very busy man, and has tried absolutely everything to try and get Jigger and Wendy working as well as Rusty is, and you know, he is an absolute trooper for the amount of effort that he's put in, and all on his own at the moment as well. So he's doing a sterling effort, and no doubt he will figure it out, and we'll get a situation where we'll kind of fix it all and everything will be okay again. You know, we go through these phases sometimes where some of the cars just decide they don't want to do it, and especially now in the summer months, you know, equipment gets wet. We have a situation where we get a random kind of sort of growth of plants and leaves that block certain parts of the signal, and it all just makes things quite difficult. So it's, you know, one of those things, and we'll, like I say, Conrad will figure it out. I know Conrad is a seriously smart lad for his age, and like I say, probably one of the most diligent of our crew in terms of work. He never seems to stop, and is a very valued member and doing everything he can, so we will get it right eventually. Right, now we are, well, exciting that Taylor saw a white-faced owl. We've seen a few of them, well, I actually saw two this week, which is I haven't seen in ages, and there's been twice at close to camp that they've been there, so that's quite nice. Maybe we'll find one close to camp again and we can show all of you guys this evening. But what I'm doing right now is I'm actually just driving pretty much kind of a route that Xidulu came along. She actually came from that side and then ran across here and then back into this block, out and then up that tree. So we found her tracks coming out and around. So what I'm doing is I'm driving on the back of her tracks basically, and then cutting towards where Brent had Hukumuri's last track. And why I'm doing that is because I maybe think that somehow Hukumuri could be following Xidulu, and maybe he's going to pop out. And could we dare say that we might get a sixth leopard on camera in one day? What is the most we've ever had on camera? I would actually like to know. How many leopards in the space of two drives, so a morning and an afternoon? Let's call it one morning and an afternoon, not an... How many is the most leopards we've had? Be interesting to know. It's going to be, I'm sure some of you have that information. I'm pretty sure we must have seen, I reckon I'm going to go for between two drives, and it has to be individual leopards. So it's got to be, it can't just be repeat sightings, it's got to be individual leopard that we've seen. I'm going to go with the fact that we've probably seen 9, maybe, is what I'm going to go for. 9 in a day, maybe 10 actually. Sometimes we get these kind of crazy days. The most that I've ever seen here in a drive, which is crazy to give you an idea, is that we, between the ranges here in this northern sector when I was at Chitwa, so just the traverse that Chitwa had, we had 14 different leopards in one game drive, which is pretty insane when you think about it. And Taylor's going to also be very jealous because I've just found her chameleon. So you see it there, Vildi, right in the middle of the tree. The infrared shows it very, very well. So there's a chameleon right there. It's not a bush willow pod. It is most definitely a chameleon. Let's get you a little closer, Vildi, because you're on the long end of your lens at the moment, and the infrared reflects quite badly on the grass vegetation. So let's just quickly go a little in here. It's not far. We're just going to take one kind of car's length in. There we go. Okay. So VM should be able to find it fairly easily. No, so we'll stay in our infrared because it's much easier to see it. Look at that. You can see the big beady eye of a massive flap-necked chameleon. So it is a huge individual. Looks like a big female, possibly, and is curled up and sitting. Ah, you know what? I forgot my UV light. This is not good because I wanted to get a UV light. We've discussed this ad nauseum lately in camp because apparently chameleon bones are like scorpions in that they have hyaline, which means that they reflect the UV light, and if you shine the UV light from behind them, apparently you can see their skeletal structure glowing underneath the skin. Now, I don't have my UV light with me today. It is back because I keep changing cars and I keep forgetting things in all the random vehicles that we're driving. And so I don't have it with me, which is a big shame. I was hoping to do that. But hopefully this chameleon will stick around. We'll maybe come here again tomorrow evening or somewhere around the section. Maybe we'll be able to spot them. Now, I know... Listen. Is that? So that's the hyenas that are calling. They're on quarantine somewhere. That's where it sounds like they're coming from. Such a cool sound. Now they're finished now, but amazing sound to hear. So I was just saying, our flap-neck chameleons will fluoresce under UV, which must be amazing to see. I'm very, very keen to have a look at it and actually see what they look like under a UV light. But how cool is this with the eye just moving? You can see that these eyes, independent of one another, are able to kind of process two different images. So one is looking at me, the other one will be scanning the bush behind it and kind of looking around there, and then it will be able to spot things and process both of those images, which to me is amazing. Imagine trying to point your eyes in different directions and processing two different images. Must be pretty insane. You can also see why they're called a flap-neck chameleon quite clearly on this particular individual. If you look where the head joins onto the body, where the sort of legs are, there's a big sort of flap of skin that goes over the back of the head down towards the spine. Now that's the flap neck part of it, and it basically is there as an added bit of protection to that sensitive spinal area for these guys. So it's almost like a little ridge that they've got, and then they kind of just sit like this. It is amazing. They're such cool creatures, and I'm surprised we're seeing them this late. It's a late part of the year. I suppose it is a very humid evening this evening, and so perfect chameleon conditions to be able to find them. Mrs. Grubby, you say to end with a chameleon sighting, simply the best drive. We have had an epic drive, haven't we? We've had leopards hunting, leopards in a tree, two leopards together interacting, father and son. We've had hyenas whooping. We've had Steve in the tent, which sounds like it's been very entertaining. We've had lots of birds, hippos, and, well, a chameleon to finish, like you say. So it's been a ridiculous afternoon. It's not very often we get days like this, and you have to take them with both hands when you do and appreciate them as much as you can, because, as we know, we can have a day like we did yesterday morning, where it was it yesterday morning or Thursday morning, where it was literally like a ghost town here and nothing was around. So very, very cool to see. Now I'm going to leave our chameleon to itself. I don't want to spot any lights on it or anything like that. So we're going to... Oh no, Rusty, don't start your nonsense with me. Now, Karen and Chris Rogue, you say 5 different leopards in one drive, and that's, I would imagine, was the sighting of Induna, Shavambalana, Shavinzi, Jordan, and Karula, that were all together. I think that's what you may be recalling. I don't know, I might be wrong. So there was a sighting with the 5 of them together one time. But I was saying just before we kind of saw that chameleon that we've seen, so Karen says exactly that sighting. I do remember that sighting very, very well. And funny enough, those leopards all related, which is pretty cool. But like I was saying before that, so we had a drive where there was 14 different leopards seen on our traverse alone. Of that, which was a weird day for me because we responded to the first leopard that we saw, which was, I'm just trying to actually remember, it was in Djuma on Chitwa, southern side of Chitwa airstrip. In Djuma was there, and then we didn't respond to a single other leopard, and I found, well, my tracker actually probably more than me, we found in total 8 leopards by ourselves. So we saw 8 leopards in one game drive. It was in Mvula, Safari, in Djuma. We had Lamula, I think that drive as well. Who else did we get? Mofufinyan. I'm just trying to think. And Tundi and 2 cubs. That was what we had. And then it was just chaos. So it was the leopards everywhere. So every now and then we get these crazy drives. I reckon that 5 is low. I'm sure we've maybe seen between 3 vehicles. Have we not? I suppose we've only just started doing 3 vehicles. We've not been doing that for very long. It used to be just 1 car. So 5 is a lot for just 1 car. That's out. But it's been an absolutely epic afternoon. Remember that we are also at this point in the running for a Webby Award, so remember to go get voting and to vote for all 3 categories. Remember, we don't want to be beaten by the goat, so get on that. And then also that we are busy trying to expand from not only the bush environment but underwater too. So dive live.wildearth.kickstarter, get on board, become an ambassador for our underwater adventures, and it will be epic. But it's that time for us to head home. It's, like I say, been a crazy afternoon. So from all of us here at Wild Earth and all the guides, come-ups, and everybody else, has been a pleasure, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Safari.